wheelie bars in. Hello, I'm Ramon, and welcome back to All Scale RC. So the wheelie bar came in. I went with the Taylor RC wheelie bar. Right now there are two options for wheelie bars for this truck. One is the Taylor RC, which I have here. The reason it's open, I had to paint the brackets. They come in raw metal, and I just thought it would look a lot better if it was painted. So I went ahead and painted it. But there are two choices for a wheelie bar for this truck. You have the Taylor RC wheelie bar, which is about $154, and you have Primal just released their own wheelie bar for this, and that one's under $100. Now, when you're looking at both wheelie bars, you have to really consider where you're going to drive this thing. If you're going to run this on really rough terrain, I believe your best choice is going to be the Taylor RC wheelie bar, being that the Taylor RC has larger tires. I need a scissors to cut this open. The new Primal wheelie bar has a lot smaller tires. The smaller tires are probably going to get caught up on rocks a lot easier, and if you're trying to ride a long wheelie, that's not going to work. If the ground is smooth, you'll probably be fine. But let's get these tires out so you can see what I mean. Yeah, I know it's a $50 difference, but it's a big truck, and I'm running this thing on sand. The other wheelie bar, I don't think would do me any good in the sand. So here's the tires that come with the Taylor RC wheelie bar. These tires are 1/8 scale buggy tires, pretty much. They're made for all kind of uneven, rough terrain, so these tires are going to be fine. So I decided to do the build video on this because on the website there is no pictures of this wheelie bar installed. All what it says on the website is to install it behind the second pair of shocks. Now, no pictures and installing it behind the second set of shocks, and you got a bunch of hardware in there, so we're gonna have to figure this out. Okay, so you're gonna use your shock stand actually to hold this bracket in place, and this bracket's gonna go just like that. There's a hole right here, which that hole is just like a guide hole. No, a bolt doesn't go there. That just goes over the head of one of the existing bolts that are already on the truck. So that will go there, and your shock stand goes back where it was. The bolt holes don't line up. Okay, so we're back. I had to stop what I was doing and re-drill and repaint the wheelie bar brackets. They were slightly off. Apparently, I believe this wheelie bar was designed for the Raminator, which only has single shocks, and they decided to use it for the Grave Diggers as well, which have dual shocks. So the hole for the shock stand was an afterthought, and Taylor RC might have their measurements a little off. So what I did was, of course, I started drilling out the hole for the shock stand, making that larger to give me a little space so the shock stand bolt can go in. And it was so far off that I really had to make the hole a lot larger. And even after that, my other bolts, which are these three, 1, 2, 3, they weren't lining up correctly because I was still trying to chase it around for the original hole for the shock stand. What I should have did was I should have put in the three holes that were, I should have put bolts in the 3 holes that were correct and marked the bracket from behind for the shock stand bolt and drilled a new hole for that, and that probably would have saved me a ton of headaches. But I went around it the wrong way. I started elongating holes and everything. So long story short, I made the holes bigger and I repainted it, and now we're gonna install it. So right now it's just sitting here loosely, so let's get this thing on. So the bolt holes you want to use are these 3 holes. The larger screw provided goes in the top hole, and then these 2 down here. This has a hole for this screw head to fit through. which that holds your control module bracket. And this is the hole for the shock stand. Now, it is way oversized, and I went ahead and I found some nylon bushing that I cut in half that I'm going to put in there so that the shock stand isn't floating. So I'm just going to put a half moon of a nylon bushing, 2 of them, in there, and that'll fill in that gap so that will not be floating. It's not the way I like to do things, but I can't go back and fix the hole. It's already, what's done, it's done. Like I said, if I would have put these screws in first, which I think were probably correct, and the culprit was the shock stand screw, if I would have just marked that from behind and drilled a brand new hole, I think I would have had a lot less of a headache. But let's go ahead and get this installed. There, I didn't use 2 of the washers since there's 2 aluminum bushings that separate the tires from the brackets. And when I put these 2 washers in, I couldn't get to the nylon portion of the nut, so I just took those out, and now it's fine. It spins freely. Now we can tighten it up. Okay, there's the wheelie bar close up. Okay, so all that's left is to get the body on. Well, I'm going to go through the decals on the body, and this truck will be done. So here is the fully converted brushless grave digger from Primal RC. I have the Taylor RC wheelie bar installed, painted flat black. I tried going with the satin black since the chassis appears to have a little bit of a sheen to it, but the satin was too much. So I went ahead and went with flat black, and that actually looks a heck of a lot better. It's the sheen on the chassis is very, very minute. So if you get the Taylor RC wheelie bar painted flat black, you'll be fine. I'll put the flag on it, the Primal Grave Digger flag, and there's the wheels. So it is all done. And of course, where I live at, it looks like we're having a monsoon. So it's going to be wet today, wet tomorrow. So I probably will not be able to have this out till next week, hopefully. As long as the beach is dry, I'll have it out there next week. My next plans for this grave digger are going to be the V4 front steering conversion. There's an upgraded steering kit for this that I want to do. It'll kind of look more like a LMT when it's done. So it's a single bar that goes across the front, so I plan on doing that next. But for now, I am done with this, and I can get it off my bench. I am still working on the XX10 T-Rex. Hopefully we have a good weekend next weekend. I'll get this thing out on the beach and get you guys a run video. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. That wheelie bar looks pretty good painted.